This video will guide you through the start of your journey in the Lands Between, and within your first 60 minutes, by following this guide, you will have loads of smithing stones to level up your primary weapon no less than 3 times, a bunch of extra healing flasks, a very strong shield, the know-how to tackle most enemies, and much more. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic day. In this video, we're starting a brand new series where I'll help to set you up with some of the best starting builds in the game. Now, this is primarily aimed at newer players, but I'm hoping everyone will be able to take away at least something from these videos. They're designed to hold your hand throughout your first hour of playtime and get you fully prepared to tackle everything the Lands Between has in store for you without spoiling any storylines. The build we're looking at today is a very common first playthrough build for many players, and that is your stereotypical physical melee damage with a sword and a shield. Though there are some characters that fit this description perfectly, such as the Vagabond, the build I advise you select is Samurai. The Samurai starts with one of the most powerful swords up until the late game, and will set us up perfectly for the build we are trying to achieve. The next thing you want to do is name your strong boy. And for the keepsake, if it is your first journey, I would advise going with the Golden Seed for an extra healing flask. And we'll come on to healing flasks in just a minute. Now make sure that your Tarnished looks exactly as gorgeous as you would like them to look, like so, and let's begin. As you make your way out of the starter church and towards this first area, you will be confronted with an optional boss. This is very tough and not meant to be defeated, though it can be defeated. So don't feel bad if you die to it or just want to skip it altogether. After a cutscene, you will wake up in the stranded graveyard with your healing flasks. Again, if this is your first journey in the Lands Between, make sure you drop down here into the Cave of Knowledge and check out the tutorial. Once you've done that, I will meet you out the front in Limgrave and we will start our journey together. Before you journey out into the Lands Between, just make sure you quickly do these 2 things. You now have your healing flasks, so make sure you're comfortable with how to use them. Initially, they will start out here on your quick item bar. If you want to keep them there, that is absolutely great. However, I advise trying them out on your pouch. To do this, simply come to the pouch at the top right and press Y or triangle to switch. You can then choose which item you would like to assign to the pouch. Once you have done that, exit out of this menu, and again you can hold Y or triangle to bring the pouch up, as you'll see at the bottom left here. From here you can press left, right, up or down on the D-pad to use the item that you've put there. And if you didn't know, when you rest at a site of grace your health flasks will be replenished. And the second thing you want to do is use your Golden Seed like so to upgrade your flasks so that you have 1 extra charge. You can then allocate them as you see fit, but I'd advise to stick with 4 health and 1 FP for now. Now we can finally start our journey properly, so let's get strong. First, head to the church you see north of you, grab the smithing stone and light the site of grace. There is a merchant here, we'll come to him later. Now head northeast through the forest, past all the enemies, until you get to another site of grace. Here you will meet Melina. I'll let you experience her dialogue for yourself, and she will award you with a spectral steed whistle. Equip this to your pouch or your quick item bar, and now you have the ability to ride Torrent. So let's go. On Torrent, head into the Gatefront ruins and grab this map fragment. We'll check out the map in just a second when we're safe. For now, head northwest into Stormgate and sprint all the way through, ignoring all the enemies and the giant troll that will jump down on top of you. Once you're out the other side, you can grab another Golden Seed and then head directly east. Here, we're going to pick up 3 smithing stone 1, and now, if you wish, you can stop to check the map and get your bearings. Keep heading northeast and you will come to a site full of tombs. Run around grabbing all the golden runes, being careful of the enemies, especially if it's nighttime because there will also be bats. Once you've grabbed them, run back the way you came, and once you're back by the tree with the Golden Seed, head slightly north to find a stone sword key and another site of grace. From this site of grace, we are going to head directly east to roughly where I've just placed the marker on the map. We'll run past the tombs we visited just a second ago and head right down the hill. Here you'll see a statue stuck in the floor that's glowing. You'll need to deliberately grab the attention of one of these trolls and get it to smash open the statue for you. Once done, sprint towards it, grab the plethora of smithing stones and get out as quickly as possible. Run back the way you came, and once you're finally out of combat, you can open the map back up and teleport back to the Church of Ely. Once you're here, you will meet Rana, obviously. She will grant you a spirit calling bell and some lone wolf ashes, so you can now summon a trio of wolves to help you in combat. Please note, if she didn't spawn, what you may need to do is rest at the Site of Grace and pass the time until nightfall. Now we can use the other golden seed that we got, and we are now already up to 5 healing flasks. Next up, from the Church of Ely, we're going to run west down the mountains and follow along the coastline. As you leave the church and start running down, you will see another giant. Just run past it and completely ignore it. It won't chase you for long. Once you're down here, run past all of the enemies, and underneath this rubble, you will find a merchant. Here, you can now sell your golden runes so that you have enough runes to purchase all 3 of the Smithing Stone 1, along with the Armourer's Cookbook. As long as you've been following this guide correctly, this will have given you 12 Smithing Stone 1, which is exactly enough to level up a weapon to +3. Now go back to the Church of Ely once more, and if you didn't already, introduce yourself to Carly and sell the rest of your golden runes. Now you can come over to this smithing table and level up your Uchigatana to +3. This will make it deal significantly more damage than it did previously. And now, with any leftover runes, you want to purchase the crafting kit, the torch, and any of the cookbooks you can afford from Carly. Now, we've got a super powerful early game weapon. Next up, let's improve our defense. For this next tip, teleport back to the Stormhill Shack grey site, and we're going to follow the road along to the northeast. Run past the 2 patrolling enemies because they are quite tough for the super early game. And I'm going to run past the War Master's Shack. Feel free to grab this Site of Grace whilst you're here if you want to. The reason we're here primarily is for this camp. The main attack you'll be using for now is your weapon art Unsheath. Hold down L2 or LT if you're on Xbox to sheathe your weapon. Then you can use a heavy attack to do this devastating overhead swing that you see here, or light attack to do a much quicker thrust as you see used on this dog. Once we've cleared up the edge of the camp, let's summon our wolves and have them help us in combat. Be very careful and let the wolves soak up the damage for you because this is quite a tough early game camp. Make sure you're using Unsheath as much as possible to deal devastating amounts of damage and stagger your enemies. And as you see here, don't worry if you run out of FP, you can still use Unsheath. It's one of the few weapon arts you can still use even when you are completely out of FP. It will deal reduced damage, but it is still insanely powerful. You'll know the camp has been cleared fully when you see these blue and red lines flow into you. That is some of your FP flasks refilling, so now you can heal up if you need to. The most important reason we are here is for this chest. You have now acquired the Beast Crest Heater Shield. Now that we've got this shield, we will immediately swap out our Red Thorn Round Shield for this one. The primary reason being that it gives us 100% physical damage negation, meaning every time something hits our shield, we will be completely protected. And I will come on to exactly what this means and how to use it in just a minute. We've got a few more things to do before we do some more combat. The next bit is super easy. Just head north out of the camp, down the road, and light the Site of Grace. Someone did try and get our attention on the way. I will let you go and visit this person on your own time so I'm not spoiling any of the game for you. We're now going to head over the bridge and make our way over to the marker I've just placed here. As we head over, feel free to grab these smithing stones, but you won't need them for now. And now, on the other side of the bridge, let me just open the map and show you something. You'll see everything is covered by this fog, and as we move into it, more and more of the fog is revealed. Eventually, enough of the fog will be revealed that you will see this symbol right down in the corner here. This is identifying that another map fragment is nearby, so we want to go and grab this as soon as possible. On the way, we may as well stop by the artist's shack and grab this painting and Site of Grace. Once here, we're going to sprint to the map fragment, ignoring all the enemies, because some of the enemies in this area are insanely powerful. Once you've got it, just keep running south. Keep going south until you're out of the forest and you are safe. As you are running, if you listen carefully, you may hear some howling. All I will say is when you get time, go and speak to Carly and ask him about the howling. I'll leave it at that for now. One final thing before we leave this area, head over to the east and you can grab this Site of Grace so that you've got it for later. Now that we're safe and we've got that map fragment, let's have a proper look at Limgrave. As you can see already, the world has got a hell of a lot bigger than it was. Almost everything you see here is just Limgrave, bar the red land you see off to the right hand side. We'll ignore that for now. So, now that you can see this, I have 3 or 4 more very important things to tell you in this video. But if you would like an even better guide, the next thing I suggest you do is check out my video covering every single missable thing in Limgrave. If you are a person who truly wants to complete this game, that video is the be-all and end-all of every single thing you could possibly do and grab in Limgrave. So that is your next stop if you get stuck. For now, let's head back to the Church of Ely, and I'll talk you through how to effectively use that shield. Your best friend in a traditional sword and shield playthrough is going to be the guard counter. Guard countering is very simple. Hold down the block button, and as soon as an enemy's attack has connected with your shield and bounced off, immediately hit the heavy attack button to follow up with a devastating attack. You can then go in for a critical attack like so. To perform a critical attack, you just need to perform a light attack a second or two after the enemy has become stunned. As you'll see on this next enemy, I perform the light attack a bit too quickly and I just do a regular attack. So we'll try again on the next enemy. We block the attack, we perform a guard counter, we wait a second and adjust our position, and then we go in for the critical. If this is your first Souls-like and you're a little bit daunted by the game, I know how easy it is to panic and mess up the timings, but keep your calm and wait for the enemy to go down into that staggered animation so that you can follow up with a devastating critical. And of course, don't forget you have your insanely powerful unsheath as well. The next thing I'll advise you to do is get a few levels under your belt. So, go and hit up these 4 tomb site locations that I am now marking on the map for you. They will all contain a bunch of golden runes for you to go and grab so you can level up your character. And initially, you want to pump every single level into Vigor until you've got around 25 at least. Vigor is going to increase your survivability an insane amount, and you already have a very powerful +3 level weapon, so leveling up something like strength or dexterity is not as valuable to you at the moment as ensuring you live longer. So you've got a powerful weapon, you know how to fight, you've got 100% physical resist shield, a decent set of armor. What next? Where do we go? We are ready to go. Let's do this. So let's open up the map again and see what our options are. As I say, Limgrave is absolutely massive and you have many things you can do here. Once you have done with Limgrave, the next thing I advise to do is head south along this bridge. I won't give away what's there, but personally I feel that that is the next easiest area for you to tackle once you've done with Limgrave. Once you've done there, you want to come back and follow the sites of grace that have these beams of light shooting off of them. They are directing you towards your next main objective, but as I say, I'd advise going south first. Now, let me give you a few advanced tips before I leave you to it. Meet me once again at the Stormhill Shack and we will start running north. If you want absolutely no spoilers whatsoever, you can skip the next minute of the video because I'll be coming back to Limgrave for a few final important tips. For now, if you do want to know where I'm going with this, you can actually head out of Limgrave this way, grabbing this cookbook on the way, and following this secret hidden path, you can bypass a huge area in the game. This will eventually lead you to Liurnia of the Lakes. This is the next main area that you'll come to. And the main reason I'm showing you this sneaky side path is just in case the next main area is too difficult for you. You can bypass it, come to Liurnia, and level up your character some more before you then go back and try and tackle the previous area again. That is all I wanted to show you here, so let's go back to Limgrave and I've got some more things to show you. We are now back in East Limgrave, just above the Mistwoods we were in earlier. Head northeast towards this marker I've just placed on the map. This is the third Church of Marika, and here you will find 2 extremely important items. Firstly, a sacred tear, and secondly, a flask of Wondrous Physick. At this point, as we did venture outside of Limgrave in the previous tip, Melina is now offering to take us to Round Table Hold. Again, I'm keeping this spoiler free. You go and explore Round Table Hold when you want to. I will tell her thank you, but no thank you for now. What we want to do is go into our flasks and increase the amount restored by our flasks. This has used the sacred tear and made our healing and FP flasks more powerful. And even better, we have now unlocked a new menu option to mix Wondrous Physick. Here we can place in the only crystal tier we currently have, the Crimson Crystal tier, and this will effectively now act as an additional healing potion. So as we did earlier, I'm going to add this to my pouch, and I now have all of my healing and Torrent in one quick, easy and convenient location. While we're here, there's one more nifty feature I want to share with you before we move on to a very juicy and very cheesy bonus tip. What we're going to be looking at now is group passwords. Head into the menu and head into multiplayer. Here, you can apply group passwords. As it says, if you set a group password, you'll be more likely to see messages, summon signs, bloodstains, phantoms, and so on from others using the same password. Now you can enter in the Dom's Roundtable password of Knights, all in caps. This will work no matter what platform you're on, though please be aware that joining other players unfortunately isn't cross-platform. This is something you're going to want to do on every new character because the Roundtable is a hugely helpful and generous community, and you will find lots and lots of helpful messages and players willing to help you out. Of course, other communities have their own group passwords, so find out what they are and enter them into the other 4 slots if you wish. Now, for the final big juicy tip. I know some people aren't a huge fan of cheese, so this won't be for everyone, but this is a fantastic way to get yourself a few early levels to make the early game that bit easier. Firstly, back at the Third Church of Marika, we're going to head north and into this little pool of water. In the corner, you will find a portal. Head through it and you'll find yourself in Grael's Dragon Barrow. Now, keep running southeast. You'll go past a golden seed you can pick up, and then you want to grab this Site of Grace on the way. Now we're going to run onto this bridge and start a fight with a giant dragon. I'm just kidding, we're not. It's okay, don't worry. Keep running, just sprint past it, you'll be absolutely fine. It will lose interest in you before long. Once you're off the bridge, keep going down the hill and hug the left-hand side. Round the back of this giant tree, you will find a spirit spring. Jump on Torrent and it will propel you up to the top of the mountain. Now keep heading southwest until you come to another Site of Grace. Rest here and we are ready to begin the cheese. You will find a gigantic elder dragon here, and she is just ripe for the killing. As you can see, she has tens of thousands of health, and with most builds, it would take you forever to kill her. However, you cleverly started as the samurai and started with the Uchigatana. This is a bleed weapon, and with a certain amount of hits, she will take a percentage of her health as bleed damage, and you will deal over 13,000 damage in one hit. Keep doing this for a few minutes and eventually she will be dead, netting you with nearly 100,000 runes. However, if you did want to take this cheese one step further, make sure you're killing her on Torrent, and once she is dead, sprint back towards the Site of Grace. If you dismount and rest quick enough, you will net the runes from her, but she will respawn so you can do it again. As you can see, I'm awarded with 50,000 runes and then a further 25,000. If you do this, you will only get the initial 50,000 runes. The other 25,000 come from 5 other dragons that die with her. They stay alive, so you won't get the full amount. But you can repeat this as many times as you want then. I'll just do it the once and then let's go and level up. As I say, getting your vigor to around 25 to 30 is amazing for the early game to give you loads of survivability. Then I'm going to level up my dexterity, my mind, and my endurance just a bit to make my character more well-rounded. That has more than doubled my starting health, and we are now well kitted out for the journey ahead. So let's travel back to the first step Site of Grace, and I will leave the lands between in your capable hands. Go forth, ye tarnished, and make us all proud. I hope this has been helpful, and all that's left for me to say is, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.